Test log 1825 to 1801. Forward. All testing rooms used with SCP-1825 are to have walls composed of reinforced steel in order to prevent an incident similar to the one prior to containment. Test number 1. Subject D1825-1. Time: the 2nd of February, 7 a.m. Test: place SCP-1825 inside a empty 10 meters x 34 meters x 3 meters room and use SCP-1825 normally. Result: banging could be heard against the walls whenever D1825-1 had the ball hit the side of the playing field. Test was otherwise uneventful. Test number 2. Subject D1825-1. Time: the 2nd of February, 7:14 a.m. Test: SCP-1825 is to be used inside the previous room, with a large table placed in the center. Result: when the ball hit the space approximately located to the table on the playing field, SCP-1825 interpreted the table as a bumper. As D1825-1 hit the table, the force increased in density, and eventually made large dents in the walls. Once the table was hit twice, the table was damaged, reaching a score of 10 before collision. Once the ball fell into the drain, the table immediately collapsed. Test number 3. Subject D1825-1 and D1825-2. Time: the 2nd of February, 8:09 a.m. Test: SCP-1825 is used inside the room with an additional D-class inside, D1825-2. Result: D1825-2 immediately expressed discomfort once SCP-1825 was activated, reporting an inability to move his legs. After each collision with D1825-2, the score increased by 10 points. When hit for the 4th time, reaching a score of 30 beforehand, D1825-2's torso disconnected from the lower half of his body, and landed on the floor while the lower half of his body was supported. D1825-1 immediately let go of SCP-1825, and backed away. When the ball went down the drain, D1825-2's lower half was released, and fell to the ground. Test number 4. Subjects D1825-1. Time: the 2nd of February, 9:30 p.m. Test: activate SCP-1825 in a rectangular room that measures 10 meters x 34 meters x 3 meters, with one hole in the floor, measuring 2 meters in diameter. D1825-1 is to use SCP-1825 normally. Result: once the hole was hit, SCP-1825 interpreted it as a kick-out hole and the scoreboard gained 50 points. The force was then ejected towards the wall at a speed of approximately 72.4 km per hour. A large hole in the wall was left after the collision, measuring 2 meters in diameter. The test was terminated immediately afterwards. Test number 5. Subject D1825-1. Time: the 2nd of February, 9:40 a.m. Test: SCP-1825 is used inside a 11 meter x 11 meters x 4 meters room. Walls are equipped with motion sensors to check for any distortion in the force created by SCP-1825. Result: when activated, SCP-1825 emitted a series of noises commonly heard from a standard pinball machine before allowing the ball to be deployed. When hit, the force was distorted to the shape of an oval, which caused the ball inside SCP-1825 to curve away from its typical projection. Test number 6. Subject: D1825-1. Time: the 2nd of February, 9:50 am. Test: SCP-1825 is used inside a 3-walled room with each wall measuring 11 meters, and a height of 4 meters. Walls are equipped with motion sensors to check for any distortion in the force. Result: when activated, SCP-1825 emitted a series of noises. See test log 1825 to 1801A4. Afterwards, D1825-1 was able to use SCP-1825. However, the force seemed to vary in width as it moved across the playing field. Test number 7. Subject: D1825-1. Time: the 2nd of February, 20:10 am. Test: SCP-1825 is used inside a cylindrical room with a diameter measuring 11 meters, and a height of 4 meters. Walls are equipped with motion sensors to check for any distortion in the force. Result: when activated, SCP-1825 emitted an identical series of noises like in Test 4 and 5, and D1825-1 was able to use SCP-1825. However, the ball's course has become unpredictable, and often bounces to hit the glass. Test number 8. Subject: D1825-1. Time: the 2nd of February, 20:10 am. Test: use SCP-1825 in a spherical room that has a diameter of 12 meters. Walls are equipped with motion sensors to check for any distortion in the force. Result: when activated, SCP-1825 emitted a series of payings before letting D1825-1 pull the plunger, although louder and longer than those observed in tests 5, 6, and 7. When the ball hit the flipper, the room immediately broke off from the rest of the building, and launched itself northwest for approximately 500 meters outside. The room fell 3 stories once brought outside, and returned to the building. The ball stopped when it lightly hit the side of the site, leaving minimal damage to the first floor. When the inside of the room was examined, blood covered approximately 30% of the interior. SCP-1825 was found on its side, with the left hind leg bent from D1825-1 colliding with it, and the words tilt displayed across its scoreboard. Aside from this, SCP-1825 was otherwise undamaged. Collateral damage includes 1 empty office, part of a hallway, 1 janitorial closet and 2 bathrooms, plus 1 D-Class personnel. Notes: SCP-1825 needs to be cleaned of blood, have its leg fixed, and moved to its original containment immediately. It appears that when placed inside a spherical room, SCP-1825 cannot identify the room as a playing field, so in an attempt to start the game, SCP-1825 interprets its surroundings into something it can work with. Dr. T. Test number 9. Subjects: D1825-323, 21 D-Class personnel. Time: the 2nd of February, 20:04:02 p.m. Test: activate SCP-1825 in a rectangular room that measures 10 meters x 34 meters x 3 meters, and let 18 D-Class personnel in the same room during activation. D1825-3 is to simply activate SCP-1825, and is told not pull the plunger. 1 minute after activation, D1825 to 1822 and D1825 to 1823 are told to go inside and walk around. Result: D1825-4 through 21 were prevented from moving, as expected. when D1825 to 1822 and D1825 to 1823 were told to go inside, they were allowed to move freely. When D1825 to 1822 and D1825 to 1823 were instructed to try and move SCP-1825. D1825 to 1822 and D1825 to 1823 were unsuccessful. Once SCP-1825 was turned off, D1825 to 1822 and D1825 to 1823 were able to lift SCP-1825. Notes: using SCP-1825 as a means of containment for D-Class personnel has been considered, and denied due to obvious destructive properties SCP-1825 possesses. This test would also explain how SCP-1825 remained intact during test number 7. Dr. T. Test number 11. Subject: D1825-3. Time: the 3rd of February, 11:25 a.m. Test: keep SCP-1825 in the same rectangular room. Tell D1825-3 to line the entire room with the given furniture so it blocks the ball from going inside the drain. Result: as soon as D1825-3 hit the ball with the plunger, the ball kept bouncing around inside the ring of furniture. The ball has become trapped in an endless loop, and presumably refuses to turn off until the ball returns to the drain. Test number 11.1. Subject: D1825-3. Time: the 3rd of February, 11:34 a.m. Test: give D1825-3 a set of tools, and tell her to try and remove the glass. Once done, D1825-3 is asked to try and touch the furniture from SCP-1825, and put the ball back in the drain. Result: D1825-3 successfully removed the glass, and confirmed that she could feel the furniture, although no further damage was taken from this action. When the ball was lifted up, the force burst through the ceiling. D1825-3 panicked, and shoved the ball into the drain, which created a large hole in the area. When the game was ended, the score was 30,232,450, and has been recorded as the high score by SCP-1825. Notes: these results explains that the ball is what causes damage, not the machine. This would open up a possibility for military use, but since it's the only one, it's best if we didn't use SCP-1825 in a situation where it could be damaged further. Dr. T. Test number 12. Subject: D1825-3. Time: the 3rd of February, 1:44 p.m. Test: SCP-1825 is to be outside with a truck placed 25 meters in front of it. D1825-3 is asked to take the ball out before hitting it with the flipper, and feel around for an object shaped like a truck in SCP-1825's playing field. If D1825-3 finds it, she is then tasked to hit it with the ball. Result: test aborted. Notes: since there's the high probability that SCP-1825 would not comprehend an outside playing field, and turn, redacted, into the pinball, I stopped the test. I recommend that we cease further testing with SCP-1825, and have it remain in storage until further notice. Dr. T. Addendum 1825 to 1801A. Dr. T's statements have been noted. Tests held inside a spherical room or outside involving SCP-1825 will be denied. 05-7